For quite some time, you knew that you were going to play in the Winter Classic. You know, we talked about it a lot and playing outdoors and so forth. But when we arrived the day before, you guys got a chance to practice outside. It's wet, it's cold, there's flurries in the air. When you actually took the ice, was your first thought, this is great, or was it, how are we going to play this game?
Oh no, it was fun. I mean, the whole time I think we were all just happy to be part of it. We probably didn't realize how big it actually was until, you know, game day. We knew it was a pretty unique scenario we're going to be a part of, but until, you know, you're coming out of that tunnel and, you know, you're seeing the snow come down and you're outside and I don't know how many thousands of people are there watching. It's, you know, it's an experience I think we'll all look back with some great memories.
It really did have a feel like a Hollywood movie because of the elements as far as Mother Nature, over 70,000 fans. But to have you line up for a shootout to win the game and then do it, I mean, you've done some pretty cool things in your career, but did you ever think that would be one of them?
No, never. And like I said, looking back on that, I mean, it's something I'm always going to remember. I'm going to remember how cold it was, the amount of people that were there. Even, you know, I remember scoring, and you know, it was mostly Buffalo fans there, so it wasn't really that loud. And you know, you just, you know, you're there on the ice with your teammates. The snow's coming down, and you only hear them celebrating. It's a pretty fun memory, I think, and. Just the whole game itself was a pretty special occasion, I think, for the league and for everyone who was able to kind of share it. And not too many teams get that opportunity.
That being said, do you wish you were at Wrigley Field this year?
No, I like the way it ended. I don't want to mess it up. So I've got a great memory of it, and I'll be fine if that's the only one that I'm ever a part of. You know, I guess we've been there and done it now, and it's been a great experience. So I don't think we want to change it.
It was a great way to close 2007, but 2008 kind of got started off on a wrong foot, if you will. At January 18th, Mellon Arena against Tampa.
And here goes Sid. Sid to the backhand, a shot on the save made by Holmquist, and Sid crashed into the boards. That's about as hard as we've seen him go in there. Yeah, he normally can stop himself, but he gets up very gingerly here. He's hurting his right leg.
Go into the boards, have trouble getting up. At what point did you say, okay, this is serious? And at what point did you say, how long is it going to take me to come back?
I knew it was pretty serious as soon as I couldn't really get to the bench. You know, usually you get stingers and stuff, and you know, you have a hard time getting to the bench, but you do get there and you skate it off eventually. It's a bruise or whatever, but you know, I was just not able to put any weight on my foot at all. And you know, at that point, you know, it's either broken or something's hurting in there. So it's more of just waiting for the bad news after that. And you know, it didn't really settle down a whole lot in the course of that night. And then the next day you go for MRI and you find out what's going on. So it's not a good feeling.
To sit and wait for as long as you had to wait, rehabbing this, it's kind of like a caged animal.
Yeah.
I know what you like to do. I see your practice regimen, if you will, and what you go through, and I can't imagine what it must have been like for you to kind of sit and wait.
No, it was terrible, but it happened, and I think I'll be stronger mentally for it. And you know, I think I never took playing hockey for granted, but especially going through that, I have a greater appreciation for it even more. But I will say that having, you know, Mark, he was with the same injury, having Talbot with the same injury, Roberts with the same injury. If there was any way to ease the pain a bit, it was knowing that, you know, I was kind of going through the same thing as a few other guys at the ssame time, and we're able to kind of help each other by talking about it. And we had our own little self-help group, I guess you could say, going through 3 months of that. So it was nice, I guess. You never want to wish injury on anyone, but the fact that we're all together going through it, I think that might have made it a little bit easier, if any.
How did Evgeny Malkin act as a painkiller, if you will, considering the way Conklin stepped in for Fleury, Malkin, and what he did while you were out?
Yeah, I mean, without his play, we're not sitting in a a playoff position. There's no doubt. I mean, he just stepped up and led the way. We needed that. there wasn't any way that we were going to be able to keep going if he didn't step up the way he did. And he really was, the MVP as far as making sure that he got us to where we needed to be.
Whitney with a lane down the left side. The Malkin a drive, he scores!
Because of Malkin and others, the team played extremely well in your absence. But I'm sure that every general manager thinks that if we're good, we can always be better. So what was your thought when, come trading deadline, Ray Shero decides to pull the trigger on a deal that was not just you losing a teammate, but a friend, if you will?
Yeah, that was the first time I'd kind of really experienced that. Guys get traded sometimes, but he's someone who, who'd been around for a while, and was my roommate on the road for a couple of years, so that was something that was new to me. I think we all realize that's part of the game, and eventually you shake it off and you move on, and we're getting a guy in Marian Hossa who's a pretty good player, so not that makes it even easier, but you knew that someone was coming in that was really going to make your team better, so that was exciting.
When you did come back, I remember that almost after every practice, the media would stroll in and ask you how it felt to play with Marian, and Marian how it felt to play with you, because we wanted to see this combination flourish as much as you did. At what point did you start to think that the time together was starting to really turn the corner and that you were starting to feel his moves and vice versa?
I don't think it really happened until probably the first round of the playoffs, and we had played probably a handful of games together. We knew that we had chemistry. We both like to play a similar style, but as far as really getting to know where we're going to be, I thought we just improved as the playoffs went on, and the last couple series, I think we really had a good feel for where we were out there on the ice. So it was a constant work in progress, but it was always getting better, and when there's always room to improve like that, it's always a good sign.
Kosta's behind the goal. Sid turns away from Anton Volchenkov. Sidney Crosby. Close backhand shot save made. Rebound. Wrap around attempt. Score!